2, 1.
Do this.
Rave it up.
Hey guys, it's RJ May from Breaking Bad.
Adam Savani from Step Up.
It's Keegan Allen from Pretty Little Liars.
Hi, this is Arthur Buttrose.
It's Cosentino.
Rob Mills.
Todd McKenney with Lauren Yates on Rave It Up.
Raving it up.
Rave it up.
Fun.
Hashtag Lauren, rave it up.
Sorry.
Thank you, I like that
I heard
effect.
raving. We're raving it up.
Hey guys, it's Lauren Yates here, celebrity interviewer, entertainment reporter, and the host of this podcast, Rave It Up. Celebrity news, reviews, and interviews. If this is the first time you are listening, go check out our show's trailer on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to learn more about us. And make sure to follow us on social media to tell us what else you would like to hear from this podcast. We are under Rave It Up TV on Instagram, Rave It Up Show on Facebook, and our website is raveituptv.com. Now, I'm so sorry that there isn't an interview this week, but stay tuned because there will be one next week. I thought instead we'd do another Ask Lauren segment. You can send through your questions to advice@raveituptv.com. Now today I have 2 fan questions and then 42 questions I found on the internet under a getting to know you quiz that I thought you'd like to know. There are some good ones here. First of all, Rave It Up fan Vaishi wants to know, what countries would you like to travel to? Great question, Vaishi. There's so many places around this world that I want to travel to. A lot of places in Europe are at the top of my list. So I'd love to see France and Spain, Italy, Greece. A lot of those beautiful, beautiful places. And then on top of that, I would also love to go to Tahiti with the huts above the water. That's like my ideal honeymoon vacation. And also fan Dean Whedon wants me to talk about interviewing independent bands and artists that don't get any attention. I did a lot of that when I first started out, and you've probably noticed I've kind of scattered them throughout as well. When I find some amazing talent, I always bring them on the show as well. The people that I think are just going to really make it big, and I want to talk to them about it. So stay tuned because there is more of those coming up, Dean. But I am also quite picky about them as well, because I don't want to be just interviewing those artists. I've obviously created a brand where I interview really big celebrities and successful people. So I do want to keep that reputation, but it's always really good to support those independent bands and artists and give them a little bit of attention and recognition so that their fan base can grow as well. So that's why I have the new find segment on the show now too. Now, for these 42 questions, question number 1, what is your biggest fear? Oh, I'm really getting deep and personal with you guys today because I don't like to share this with many people, but I do still have quite a fear of the dark. I'm sure I'm not the only person out there that does have that fear. I think things like, I hate scary movies, but I think things like scary movies have kind of ruined the dark for me, unfortunately. And it's still something that I do struggle with. But, you know, as I'm getting older, little bit by little bit, starting to get through that fear, which is great. Number 2, what is your favorite family vacation? It's been a long time since I've been on a family vacation, to be honest. But back in 2004 and 2005, each year, and yes, I know that was a long time ago, each year my parents and I would go on a holiday over to America, and we went to different places both years, but I loved, and I'm pretty sure it was the second year, we went to Orlando, Florida, and we went to Walt Disney World. That was my favorite. And then back in, I think it was probably about 2016, I went to Hong Kong with my dad, and we met up with my uncle, his brother, over there as well. And I went to Hong Kong Disney there too. I'm a Disney fan if you haven't gotten that already. And we just had a really good time. We went to Macau as well, which is like their equivalent of Las Vegas. It was really, really cool. Very grand hotels and just amazing experience, especially now that I'm older. Number 3, what makes you angry? There's only a few things that make me angry, but one of them that came to my mind when I read this question was when someone gives you advice, but they don't even take it themselves. That really frustrates me, and kind of goes hand in hand with people that are very unmotivated and they don't want to do anything. that frustrates me, especially when they want to actually do something. Number 4, what motivates you to work hard? A lot of things. Obviously, this is my dream, my passion, my baby. You know, I've grown this business from the ground up. So that's just kind of motivation in itself, that I have all these bigger dreams and aspirations that I want to achieve with Rave It Up. And that just keeps me motivated because I want to reach them. It's really important to have those goals to keep you going and keep you driven and on the right path. But also another thing that motivates me is you guys. I know a lot of you just love Rave It Up and always listen to our episodes and our interviews, which just touches my heart. So I know that you're like on the edge of your seat, waiting for the next episode every single week. So I obviously don't want to let you down. That really motivates me too. And I really appreciate all of you tuning in and supporting us, me and my team. Thank you. Number 5, what is your favorite thing about your career? So many things. I'm sure you already know that. Number 1 thing is to meet all these incredible people. The people that are just so motivated and inspiring, and they love what they do. To be around those positive people just lifts you up as well. And on top of that, I get to hear some real cool behind the scenes stories that even sometimes you guys don't get to hear. So it's definitely a really big part of my job that I love. Number 6, this is kind of like the complete opposite of the number 5 question. What is your biggest complaint about your job? I do not have many complaints at all. I absolutely love every part of my job. Every part is different and they all just go hand in hand to build this amazing, I'm going to call it an empire. But my only complaint is when I approach someone for an opportunity, they say no or knock us down or, you know, just don't even want to give us the time. Which, you know, I know backlash is a part of entrepreneurship and success, but yeah, it is a complaint of mine. I hate it. I don't think anybody really likes it, but it is part and parcel to go with success. You know what I mean? Number 7, what was the last movie you went to? What did you think? If you follow me on Facebook, you probably know last movie I went to was Peter Rabbit 2 with my dad. We're big kids. We embraced it. We posted about it. And I loved it. I saw Peter Rabbit 1, so I knew the second one was still going to be really good. And I just think those movies, like even I saw Tom and Jerry, like they're done so well. For it to be showing these characters that aren't actually there when the movie is being filmed, it's just incredible. Like I'm sure they do actually have real rabbits in it now and then, but you know, it's all just voices that are put over this image that we see on the screen. I just think we need to give more props to these people that are actually creating these movies. We don't actually think about all the hard work that's been put into it and I'm guessing all these hours of editing and I can only imagine. And next week I'm seeing Wrath of a Man with Jason Statham with my dad. So hopefully I like that too. But anything with Jason in it, I usually really love anyway. Any action movie. Number 8, what is your favorite game or sport to watch and play? 2 very different questions in my mind. To go with a favorite sport to watch, I do actually like watching the tennis every now and then. I just find it quite therapeutic to just watch the ball go back and forth. And in terms of what my favorite game is to play, I don't know whether you mean sport. I'm guessing you do. I never really played any sports growing up or even now. I'm very much more of a dancer and a gymnast when I was younger, so that's kind of the only sport that I did. But if you meant like video game or something, I know I'm very old school, but I still have a Nintendo Wii and I still play that. So there you go. Number 9, would you rather ride a bike, ride a horse, or drive a car? Definitely would rather drive a car, but I would love to ride a bike. And I don't just mean a normal bike, I mean a motorbike, guys. I'm a bit of a rev head like that. And I would also love to learn how to ride a horse. That is on my bucket list. So hopefully over the next couple of years, I will go and do that. This year, I've put a few things from my bucket list onto my goal list. And one of them is to learn trapeze this year. So that's my big thing I'm going to tick off my bucket list. But maybe ride a horse would be on there in a couple of years. Number 10, what would you sing at karaoke night? This is definitely an easy question to answer. Toni Braxton's Unbreak My Heart. I'm very good at it and I love that song. It's just so deep and meaningful, and you know, I can relate to it, you know, in the past with breakups. So it's a very deep song and I love it. But it's also just such a great song to sing. Number 11, what 2 radio stations do you listen to in the car the most? Now, if you're listening from overseas, you're probably not going to know these stations, but here in Australia, I listen to The Edge a lot, 96.1, and I also listen to Smooth FM, 95.3. I just love driving and hearing those old school songs and ones that just, I can understand why it's called smooth. It's just very smooth. It makes you feel good. Otherwise, I do put on my Spotify in my car and just listen to my Spotify playlist. There's a lot of Latin music in there, so that's the other thing I love to listen to. Number 12, which would you rather do? Wash dishes, mow the lawn, clean the bathroom, or vacuum the house? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm sure we can all agree we don't like to do any of those. But if I had to pick one, I would probably choose washing the dishes. It's funny, growing up, I would rather always empty the dishwasher than load the dishwasher with the dirty dishes. And luckily my mum liked loading the dishwasher, so we kind of did what we enjoyed the most. But every single Sunday, you know, now that I'm living by myself, I always clean my apartment. I'll vacuum all the floors, I'll clean the bathrooms, clean the showers, do the washing. I wash my dishes every day because I like a clean kitchen. But living in an apartment, I don't have to worry about mowing the lawn, which is great. Later down the track, when I do get a house, I will have to worry about that. But right now, not really on my mind. Number 13, if you could hire someone to help you, would it be with cleaning, cooking, or yard work? If I had a house, definitely yard work. I would rather not do that. I guess I could either hire someone, but probably not, because I've got my boyfriend and I've got my dad. They love doing that, so they can do it. But in terms of that list, I probably would pick someone to do the yard work, because I don't mind doing the cleaning and the cooking. Number 14, if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be? I love some sort of pasta dish. So I don't know which pasta dish, but something in the pasta field. It's very hard to pick one meal for the rest of your life. Don't know if you guys can agree with that, because I love food. I like a lot of food. Number 15, have you ever had a nickname, and what is it? Yes, I have. When I was at school, I got called Loza a lot, which is kind of a very common nickname for Lauren. And because my last name's Yates, a few people did call me Yatesy, which I did not like because my dad's friends call him that. So to me, I was like, no, that's my dad's nickname. And when I was really young, when I loved Lizzie McGuire, the TV show, I really wanted everyone to call me Lizzie. That was my big thing. It did not stick. Number 16, in the evening, would you rather play a game, visit a relative, watch a movie, or read? Now, I love all of those things, but usually in the evenings, I do like to, it's not on there, but I'm going to go with the watch a movie thing, because I would rather watch like a TV show. And visit a relative. I visit my parents every couple of days anyway, so I could probably combine the two. I would like to watch a TV show with my family or my boyfriend. Playing a game I usually don't do unless I have like a few friends together. And read, I need to put more time into reading, to be honest. I just like reading just before bed. That's my thing. Now, we're going to be right back with more questions after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey guys, it's RJ May from Breaking Bad.
Adam Savani from Step Up.
Bryce Johnson from Pretty Little Liars.
Rob Mills.
Todd McKenney with Lauren Yates on Rave It Up.
These celebrities are sharing a message of hope and inspiring the younger generation in our new book, Knowing What I Know Now. This is filled with 70 quotes from your favourite celebrities on what they would tell their 14-year-old selves. A book filled with amazing advice to help you chase your dreams or help you deal with bullying or depression. It is available worldwide as a paperback or ebook version. Go to raveituptv.com to buy your copy now. There is even an audiobook version coming very soon.
Did you know Rave It Up now has a private Facebook group where we give away regular prizes and you get to have a sneak peek at what we're up to? You'll get to see some fun behind the scenes action and can be part of the interview process yourself, just like a real journalist. So come join us and share your passion for entertainment with all of our other fans. Just search Rave It Up Community on Facebook and we look forward to getting to know.
Now, my next question in these getting to know you questions, number 17. Would you rather vacation in Hawaii or Alaska, and why? I would probably choose Hawaii because I prefer, and I'm kind of going to contradict myself here because I usually do prefer winter over summer, but I would also prefer a tropical place than snow. Because that's what I think of when I think of Alaska. I would have liked to eventually go to Alaska, but I have been to Hawaii and I loved it. So I'm kind of going with what I know there. Let me know what you guys would choose. I would really like to know that too. Number 18. Would you rather win the lottery or work at the perfect job, and why? Well, in the ideal world, I'd love to choose both. But I think I would prefer working at the perfect job because winning the lottery, would only happen the one time. And people that do win the lottery, you hear stories all the time. They just blow the money and it doesn't last very long. So depending how much you win, it probably would eventually run out. Where if you have the perfect job, you love what you do, you have hopefully a good work-life balance, and it's exactly what you've always dreamt of. So, to me, that would kind of win over winning the lottery. Again, I'd love to know what you guys think. Number 19, who would you want to be stranded with on a deserted island? I think that's quite easy. I would love to be stranded with Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. For many, many reasons. Not just because he's good-looking ladies, but also when I think of someone that I would like to, have a really good, meaningful conversation with. You're obviously going to be stranded for a while, and I feel like you could just cover so many topics with Dwayne. He's such a motivated person, so I'm sure you'd also still be working out on the deserted island too. With the muscles he has, he can carry any wood or something we need for fire. So I'm also thinking strategically here, guys. But any videos I watch of him and how motivated and also just how down to earth he is, I just love the things he has to say. So I think that would hopefully make time go quicker as well. Question number 20. If you could go back in time, what year would you travel to? This is another easy one. I love the 50s. I would love to go back to the 50s. I don't know which date in the 50s really, but I love the music. I love the fashion. There's just so many things I've heard about that time that I would, love to go to and experience for myself. Question number 21. How many pairs of shoes do you own? Well, I haven't counted them, and I don't really want to. It's funny, back in the past, I never would have picked myself as a shoe collector, but I guess I am. I used to be a handbag collector, but I really am not anymore. I've gotten rid of a lot of them. I only have my select few I always use, and then a few bigger bags, like gym bags and stuff, and suitcases. But shoes, I've got a lot of high heels. And they're one thing. It was funny when I moved, I wanted to, because there's so many, I wanted to get rid of some, but I couldn't. It was very hard. And then I've also got, my sand shoes, or sneakers, if that's what people call them. Everybody calls them something different. I've got a few different pairs of those because I love working out. I do also work with children in the health and fitness space, so I do need those for my other job. But in terms of high heels, I just can't get rid of them. I love them. And it's good that, whenever I go out, I can always pick a good pair that goes with the outfit. I know, any guys listening, they don't care. And then I am a dancer too, so I do have my dance shoes as well. So there you go, a lot. I don't even want to guess the ballpark of how many shoes I own. Maybe I'll tell you another day. I'll come back to you after I count them. Number 22, if you were a superhero, what powers would you have? I'm a big superhero fan, and there's so many superpowers out there, but I think out of all of them, I would love to be able to read minds. How cool would that be? Yeah, it's just possibilities are endless in that field. Number 23. What form of public transportation do you prefer? Air, boat, train, bus, car, etc. Obviously, I would definitely prefer a car out of all of them. I used to love taking the bus back when I did my journalism degree, because I'd have to travel all the way into the city, which is like 40 minutes to an hour for me. But I've actually really come to learn to love the train. That's probably the one I would choose. Number 24. What's your favorite zoo animal? I have two. I love the meerkats. I always gotta go check out the meerkats, as well as the chimpanzees. They're pretty funny to watch. It's kind of like people watching, you know, because they are, I guess, monkeys, chimpanzees, closest to humans as we can get, and they do some really, really funny stuff. I've filmed them a few times when I've gone to the zoo. Number 25. How many pillows do you sleep with? Interesting question. I only sleep with the one. When I make my bed every day, I have two on there. And obviously when my boyfriend comes over and sleeps over, we've got the one each. But then when I really make my bed, you know what I mean, guys. I always make my bed every day, but you know, when you have visitors over, you want it even more spectacular. When I really make my bed, there's 8, believe it or not. I don't know how I go from 2 to 8, but it makes the bed look amazing. It looks like a photo that should be in an interior magazine. Interior design magazine. Number 26. What's the longest you've gone without sleep and why? I calculated it's probably 19 to 20 hours that I've gone without sleep, and that was actually something I would do every single Friday. I know, right? Back in the day when I worked at Today FM, the radio station here in Sydney, for those people that live overseas, because I would work there on Friday night, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. And because I live far away from the city too, I wouldn't be getting home till 2 and go to bed at like 2:30, because I would like a shower and everything and brush my teeth, all that, wash my face. But the reason I was up for that long is because also on a Friday is when I was doing my journalism degree. So I was at college all day. I'd get up at like 6:30, and then I would go all the way to 2:30 in the morning, when I'd get home and have a quick dinner before I'd go to work, which was like 7 o'clock or something, and then I would probably have a very quick nap from 7 to 8. Not that I really napped, because my mind was going, a million miles an hour and thinking of all the things that I had to do, so it wasn't like a proper sleep, but it was just a rest my eyes thing. I'm so glad I don't do that anymore. I like my sleep. Number 27. What's the tallest building you've been to the top in? I think it's just the Centrepoint Tower here in Sydney. I don't really have an exciting answer to that. I gotta get in some more tall buildings, don't I? Number 28. Would you rather trade intelligence for looks or looks for intelligence? That's a real no-brainer for me. I'd definitely prefer to trade my looks for intelligence. As I've gotten older, not that I didn't really pay attention too much in school. There was some subjects I loved more than others and really just thrived in. But now that I'm older, I'm actually loving just researching different things and learning about new things. I'm doing a diploma in nutrition at the moment on the side of everything else I do, as well as doing a course learning about how cars work, because I've always loved cars, especially supercars, and I just want to know how they work. It's something I've always wanted to put the time into doing, and now I am, on the side after I've had dinner, just before I go to bed. Usually I do a little bit of that, and put some time into my own self-development and my growth in learning new things. Everybody should do it as they get older, I think. It's always helpful to learn as much as you can. You never stop learning after school, right? Number 29. How often do you buy clothes? When I was younger, all the time, because I loved fashion. That was one thing when I was younger, actually wanted to get into. And then I realized my love for this is way, way greater. So, but in terms of now, probably only once a year, I'd say, and not much, because I really take care of my clothes, and I haven't really grown for a very long time, so a lot of my clothes still fit me. So there's no real point for me to buy new clothes, and I'm not, as much as I do love fashion, I'm not one to always be like, okay, that's so last year or so 2011, and now I gotta update my wardrobe. I just wear what's comfortable, what I'm warm in, because I get cold really easily too, and just what looks nice. So I don't really need to buy a lot of clothes that often. Now we're going to have another quick break. It's not very long, it's only one ad, so don't go anywhere.
In this day and age, we're surrounded by technology and electricity all the time, like our phones and laptops, phone and radio towers, Wi-Fi, electric power lines, and the appliances in our home. Do you know that these could be damaging your health because of the electromagnetic radiation coming off them? When I found Orgone Effects though and bought their products, I immediately noticed a difference. I started sleeping better and was even calmer and not always high on adrenaline. Orgone Effects has over 20 years experience in developing products to neutralise the harmful effects of EMRs. I have 6 of their products myself now, and I could not recommend them highly enough. These products last a lifetime too, so you only have to buy them once. Go check out their website, orgoneeffectsaustralia.com.au. That is ORGONE effectsaustralia.com.au. And type in the coupon code RAVEITUP at checkout.
Alright, we've got 12 more questions left. Coming down to the crunch now. Question number 30. What's your favourite time of year? This is quick and easy. Definitely Christmas. Love Christmas. Can't get enough of it. Question number 31. What was the last thing you recorded on TV? It was probably Neighbours, because I'm a little bit behind on Neighbours and I don't have time to watch it when it's actually live on TV. So I record it and watch it later. Question number 32. What's your favourite type of foreign food? Probably Thai food. That's my favourite, and that's another thing I just can't get enough of. And Chinese food. Something especially Chinese food, it's something I've just grown up with when I was younger. So, question number 33. How long does it take you to get ready in the morning? When I need to leave the house to when I get up, I always leave myself an hour and a half. I used to leave an hour, and then I just found I would be just adding some new things, especially when I got into meditation. I would rather spend that half an hour before my hour to do meditation and get my head right for the day. And I stretch my body and just wake up. You know when you wake up and you just feel so stiff? Yeah, that's why I do a lot of stretching. So yeah, that's an hour and a half. And that includes, doing my makeup, doing my hair. I know some girls that do like 2 hours of just their makeup. I'm not one of those. I do a very, very basic natural look. And then that's the time also I'm making breakfast and maybe even making lunch for myself. If I'm out for the day, I like to pack it with me. Question number 34. What kitchen appliance do you use every day? Probably my oven, because now that I'm not eating yeast, I bake my own bread, and the bread is a little bit crumbly, so I don't actually put it in a toaster because it just falls apart and it's very hard to get out of the toaster. So I actually use my oven, which is also an oven grill, to toast my bread. And then usually for whatever I'm having for lunch or dinner, I'm also using the oven. So that's one that I use a lot during the day. Question number 35. Do you love or hate roller coasters? I don't really go on roller coasters anymore as I've gotten older, but I loved them as a kid, and I do still occasionally like going on one. Very occasionally, and I still do love them. I'm a bit of a thrill seeker like that. Question number 36. And warning for any young kiddies that are listening to this episode today. Question number 36 is, how old were you when you learned Santa wasn't real? How did you find out? Now, my warning was obviously because I don't want to ruin Santa for any little kids. I don't remember actually how old I was, but I remember the moment that I did find out Santa wasn't real. I had to get something out of my mum's boot of her car because she'd gone shopping and she needed me to grab something. And then I think she'd forgotten that she kept a t-shirt and some jeans in the boot that she had bought for me that I later found out was in the Santa bag for Christmas. So when I saw them, I was like, oh, interesting. I wonder, because I was starting to get a bit skeptical anyway around that time. I was like, I wonder if this is going to be in the Santa bag. And it was. But my parents never actually had the conversation with me. They wanted to keep the magic alive as long as they could, which I actually think is really nice. It's been something that, with me working with kids now as well, that has really helped me, because I know how important it is at that age to keep that magic, that imagination alive. You know, it all goes back to, I guess, my Disney roots and loving Disney. Question number 37. What was your favorite subject in school? Well, I loved all the creative stuff, like art. Not that I did very good in art, because they were so picky of what looked good, but I really liked it. Hospitality I was really good at. And then, this might surprise some people, but I also loved maths. I was just in general maths, but I was one of the best in the class, not to toot my own horn. And they did want to move me up to advanced, but I just knew that that would probably be too hard for me. So I stayed with where I was, which I guess you could pretty much just say I was staying in my comfort zone for that part. But I did really enjoy maths. And the teacher I had near the end of school was just incredible. Really, really helpful. So thank you, Mr. O'Neill. Question number 38. What's the most unusual thing you've ever eaten? This is easy to answer. One day I ate some cooked crickets. They were roasted with some lime and some herbs, and I just could not get over, because you could see like their wings and all that. But actually it tasted like a Red Rock deli chip, believe it or not. But it was still one of the most unusual things I've ever eaten, and I would not go out of my way to eat it again, because I just think, I know there are parts of the world that eat those sort of things all the time. It's part of their culture, but for me, I'd rather not. Question number 39. What do you do to keep fit? Well, I love dancing, but I love health and fitness, and I really love going to the gym. So I lift a lot of weights. I go to some gym classes, whether that's yoga or, step classes. They're a lot of fun. And I just love the feeling of working out, and especially that feeling you have inside after you're finished. It's just, that healthy feeling. I love it. Question number 40. Second last question. What's the most interesting thing you can see out of your office or kitchen window? Now, in my apartment, I do live in a 2-bedroom apartment, which to some people with me living by myself think is crazy, but I do need another room just for my office and for my filming stuff. So out of my office window, it actually looks onto the other apartments, but on each corner I can actually see other views. Like on my left, I actually see a beautiful green field, which does need to be mowed, but it's very, very nice. And then at nighttime, from the right hand side, it looks onto these apartments in the distance, which looks really nice at night because it's all lit up and it just looks beautiful. I did look at those apartments previously, but their rooms were tiny. Question number 41. What was your first job? My first job was actually at the movie theatres at Gold Class. So if you haven't been to Gold Class before, they have reclining chairs and food and drinks are actually delivered to you. It was a job that I absolutely loved, but I got everything I wanted out of it, and I got to the position that I wanted to get to. I got promoted to floor supervisor. I wasn't interested in becoming manager because they dealt with a lot more customer complaints and money handling, and it just didn't really interest me. Whereas floor supervisor, you're in charge of your team, and it's just a lot more front of house and getting to talk to customers and everything. Plus, I loved the leadership side of the job. And plus, I got trained in all areas. I actually first started off with kitchen, and then after a couple of years took a break to do my year 12 HSC, And then when I came back to it, I learnt floor and then also started working in the bar, which the bar was probably my favorite because I loved making drinks and talking to customers, taking their orders. It was a lot of fun. But after probably 4 or 5 years in total, it was just getting very repetitive. And now with me working with kids, I love it even more. Would not go back, but there were some really good times in that job too. Question number 42, last question of the day. How many languages do you speak? Fluently, just English. But in school, I learnt French for I think 5 years or something, and I do not remember most of it, which is really sad. Now and then I do remember some words, but at the moment I'm actually learning some Spanish because my boyfriend's Spanish and his family speaks Spanish. Plus, with me loving Latin music, I've actually always wanted to just listen to a song and know exactly what they're talking about. So that is like a big goal of mine, to learn one of the Latin songs off by heart and be able to have a conversation in Spanish. I will let you know how I go with that. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this episode today and learnt some new things about me. I do love sharing these things with you so we can create a closer connection and a relationship. I don't want to just be known as the interviewer. I want to be known as your friend, your buddy, the friend who interviews celebrities and gets the goss for you. And I want to learn more about you too. So write it to me on our social media accounts and tell me a fun fact about yourself. Thank you for listening. If you want to be the first to get every new episode, remember to subscribe to this podcast for free. Just search for Rave It Up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and share it with your friends. And tell us what you loved the most, and even let us know what you want to hear on this podcast. You can even check out the videos of our interviews on our YouTube channel, Rave It Up TV. And for more, visit our website, raveituptv.com. Now, before I leave you today, I just want you to remember that you are loved and you are beautiful. Bye!